So in today's video, we're going to be discussing the top 5 free agent targets for the Los Angeles Lakers this 2021 NBA offseason. And these players are all high-level players that the Lakers should definitely target this offseason. And some of these potential signings would have to be through a sign-and-trade, since the Lakers will not have enough cap space to be able to sign high-tier and high-level free agent players. But with all of that being said, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video, and also hit that notification bell button not to miss out on more awesome NBA content like this. But with all of that out of the way, now let's get into the video. So of course, the Los Angeles Lakers are one of the best NBA teams when healthy, and they did fall to the 7th seed in the Western Conference. But when LeBron James and Anthony Davis as well as Dennis Schroeder return to the court, the Lakers should definitely be fine in the playoffs, since Los Angeles is built for the playoffs and are looking forward to that opportunity again this year. And with that being said, it's not too early to start looking at potential free agent targets. And the Lakers have been aggressive in the past years in order to make serious moves in order to be a serious championship contending team again. This includes adding players like Dennis Schroeder and Montrezl Harrell last offseason. And as we look ahead to the offseason, the Lakers could potentially make some big moves, and more specifically by trying to find their new point guard. Since Dennis Schroeder is probably going to leave the Lakers, since he did decline their 4-year $80 million deal, which means that they will definitely have to find a new veteran and experienced point guard on the market. And if they're looking to add a really high level talent type of point guard, they're going to have to do it only through a sign-and-trade. And Dennis Schroeder would definitely have to be involved in any sort of sign-and-trade, which can only be the case if he does accept their 4-year $80 million deal in the future, which would only occur if he does not find a $20+ million deal next season. But as of now, there are definitely two main teams that are trying to sign Dennis Schroeder this offseason, and those two teams are the Chicago Bulls and the New York Knicks. So the main thing is, if Dennis Schroeder does not be able to get that $20+ million deal, a sign-and-trade deal could potentially be a possibility for the Lakers this offseason, which brings us to the first target for the Lakers in Mike Conley. So Mike Conley will be a free agent this summer and will likely take a pay cut from his current. He would leave the Utah Jazz would be to play for a bigger market and or to play for another contending team for another championship. This would probably only be a possibility if the Jazz will not make it to the finals this year and will fall short of it if they fail with a healthy team. And Mike Conley would definitely fit the Lakers' timeline at age 33. And the Lakers could offer Mike Conley a 4-year $80 million deal like they did for Dennis Schroeder, only if it would be in a sign-and-trade. And this would clearly offer him long-term security with a big 4-year deal. But the good thing is that they would probably be able to win another championship at least with Mike Conley on their team. And Conley is probably one of the best teammates to ever have on a team, since he just does everything the team asks him to do at the right pace, as during this season he's averaging about 17 steals per game, while he's also shooting 41% from 3, 45% from the field, and 85% from the free throw line, which is all very good numbers from the field. And he can create his own shot on offense and do anything you ask him, and he can shoot the floor moves in nowadays. But with all of that being said, now let's hop into player number 2. So the second player that the Lakers should target this offseason would be Kyle Lowry. And again, this would have to be through a sign-and-trade, because Lowry is currently looking for a 2-year $50 million deal, and that would be made possible if a Dennis Schroeder sign-and-trade would work out with the Raptors. And with a few more first or second round picks involved, the Lakers would definitely be able to make this trade happen. But if I would be the Lakers, I would still definitely not include Talen Horton-Tucker in any deal, and his game winner against the Knicks last night was definitely a prover to why he would not need to be traded. And he has an insane amount of potential and has a smooth jumper, and would definitely be a great player for the Lakers long term off the bench and then starting whenever LeBron retires. But this trade would definitely be good for the Lakers, because they would get a proven veteran star player in Kyle Lowry. And this season for the Raptors, Kyle Lowry is averaging 17 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists per game, while also adding in 1 steal per game on the defensive side of the court, while shooting about 40% from 3, 44% from the field, and 88% from the free throw line. So he's another proven player that the Lakers could definitely benefit on having having on both sides of the court, and he would definitely be a much better fit for the Lakers instead of Dennis Schroeder. So as of now, if the Lakers could get at least one out of Kyle Lowry or Mike Conley, they would easily have a successful 2021 NBA offseason. And Lowry is a proven player that has experience with Marc Gasol and players like that on the Lakers roster. And again, a starting five with Kyle Lowry, KCP, LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Andre Drummond would be perfect for the Lakers, with a bench of THT, Alex Caruso, and Kyle Kuzma supporting the team. But with that all being said, now let's hop into the Lakers free agent target number 3. So the third free agent target for the Los Angeles Lakers would potentially be DeMar DeRozan. And this one is not a point guard target for the Lakers, as it is a small forward or shooting guard target. And DeMar DeRozan could potentially be another good fit for the Lakers, as he's averaging 22 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, and 1 steal per game this season, while shooting about 50% from the field and 89% from the free throw line. And again, this would have to be another sign and trade type of possibility with the Spurs, with Dennis Schroeder being involved. But if the Spurs do not want to take on Dennis Schroeder's contract, they could make a third team be involved, like either the Chicago Bulls or the New York Knicks, which do have interest in Schroeder, and instead get a player from New York or Chicago, whichever team is the third team in the trade. And of course, probably with several picks involved in the trade. So a potential starting five of LeBron James, DeMar DeRozan, KCP, Anthony Davis, and Andre Drummond could be a potential this offseason. But since there were reports that DeRozan is interested in going to the Eastern Conference back again, he might not choose the Lakers over any of those Eastern Conference teams. But with that being said, now let's hop on to player number 4. So the fourth and second to last target for the Los Angeles Lakers this offseason would be JJ Redick. So this would definitely not have to be a sign and trade deal for the Lakers, since Redick is probably just going to ask for a veteran's minimum contract. But he could definitely be a very beneficial player for the Lakers, especially on the shooting end of the court. And of course, since he's known as being a knockdown three-point shooter, he could definitely help out the Lakers with that percentage and efficiency. Since this season, he is shooting 37% from 3 and 95% from the free throw line. He would be a great shooting guard fit either off the bench or on the starting lineup. But this is definitely not one of the bigger signings that could happen for the Lakers this offseason. But in terms of bigger signings, now let's hop on to fifth and final player, player number 5. So the fifth and final player that the Los Angeles Lakers should target this offseason would be CP3. So Chris Paul has been sensational this season for the Phoenix Suns and has been the main reason that they're having so much success on the court right now, which is clearly causing him to be in the MVP conversation and probably even top 3. The only way that he could actually leave the Phoenix Suns this offseason would be if they fall short, incredibly short, in the playoffs. But even with that, he would still probably stay with the team with his great relationship with the players like Devin Booker, and of course the coach in Monty Williams. And with that being said, he would definitely be an amazing fit for the Lakers and would easily make them a championship team. Obviously, they already are right now, but this would be almost a guaranteed championship, 1 or 2 or even 3 more next seasons. And of course, this would have to be another sign and trade potential deal. But playing with LeBron James for the first time in his career would definitely be an intriguing option for him this offseason, as he's set to become an unrestricted free agent. But it would definitely have to be through a sign and trade deal with Dennis Schroeder and multiple other players and picks involved. But with that all being said, let me know if you guys did enjoy this video, and if you guys did, make sure to like the video and subscribe if you're new. And also let me know in the comments down below, which team do you think should target these players, and do you think that the Lakers would be able to benefit off of these players? And also, do you think these are realistic options for the Lakers this offseason? And with all of that being said, it has been KNYT here, and I'm out. Peace.